Hello YouTube, I'm Arctic Bjorn, and this is my World of Warcraft for Beginners series. So, you've chosen a realm, you've chosen a race, you've chosen a faction, and now you've chosen a class, and you've loaded up the game. But what happens now? Find out after this.
But there's one they fear. In their tongue, he's Dovahkiin.
Arctic Bjorn. Alright, so in my last videos, we covered choosing a realm, choosing a faction, choosing a race, and choosing classes. So now you've finally gotten around to creating your first character, you've loaded up what you wanted them to look like, you've watched the cool cinematic at the beginning of the game, and here you are finally in game. So what happens now? Well, let me take you through it. There is a couple of basic things you need to know. So obviously in the top right corner is your mini-map, and this can be expanded and detracted to zoom in and out. You have your tracking here, which will allow you to see certain things on your mini-map. So for example, if you wanted to find the closest flight master, you can leave this enabled, and if you come near a flight master, it will show up on your mini-map. You can also go to townsfolk, and you can find different types of NPCs. So if you're looking for food and drink, you can click that, and you'll see on my mini-map that the food and drink vendor just showed up, and it gives me the name, so I know that this guy sells food and drink. The other useful things is you have a calendar of events here, so in the current time of recording, the Dark Moon Fair is coming up near me, so I can see that on my calendar, and it tells me what the weekly events are for World of Warcraft, so that's nice to keep track of on there. So, if you are brand new to MMOs, you should know that a person with an exclamation point floating over their head means that they have a quest for you. And every new character will start out in a zone with a quest available. But I will go over that in a little bit. On the top left here is your character information. So this green bar is your health, and you can hover over it to see your percentage and how much health you have. This little number down here is your level, and because I chose a warrior, down here is my resource bar. So for a warrior, this would be rage. For a rogue, it would be energy, it would be mana for mages and warlocks, etc. On the bottom left is your chat window. This will give you anything near you is in the general tab, and you can look at the combat log, but I, in my 12 years of playing, rarely ever actually look at my combat log. And up here is your quick access to your social window, and this tells you the number of friends that you have online. So, the main part of World of Warcraft takes place here. This is your action bars, and by default, you will start with an attack, you will start with a special attack, and you'll start with any racial bonuses that your character gets. So for example, my character is a dwarf, so I start out with stone form, and I have an attack here. So, what else is there on this bar? Right here is your character info, and you can hover over these guys to see what they are. This is your character info, so if we click this, it will show your character. And this is where your gear is going to go when you start accumulating your gear. And on the right side is your attributes and enhancements. So because I'm a warrior, I really only care about strength, stamina, and armor, so that's the only thing that shows up. And I only currently have 5% critical strike because I'm a dwarf, so that shows up under enhancements. Up here, later in the game, you'll gain titles, and you could do Equipment Manager at level 15, but I will make a separate video about that. So this is your character pane, which can be accessed from clicking down here, or you can use the letter C, as in cold, as to activate that. The next one over is your spellbook and abilities, and this will give you an outline of what you can expect. So I know at level 3, I will gain access to the charge ability. At level 5, I'll gain access to victory rush. At level 8, I'll gain execute, etc. So you have a couple tabs. You have your subclass tabs here, which you can look at. And then you have your just general spells. And this is where you're going to find stuff like your racial bonuses, your crafting, anything like that is going to fall in the general tab. So you see I have auto attack, I have my racial passives here, I have my passive as a warrior, which allows me to use different types of weapons. And I have certain things like stone form, and it says I can wear plate armor. So that will all show up in my Generals tab. And under your spellbook, you will also see your crafting, which I will make a whole separate video about crafting, but just know that it's under your spellbook, which can be accessed by clicking on this button or pressing P as in pig to go back and forth between that. The special talents I will go over in a different video. Your achievements tab is here. This is just a fun little way of keeping track of all the stuff you've done in the game. This can be accessed by pressing Y, as in, why are you telling me this? The quest log is L, and the quest log will also open up a map that will show you where the quest takes place. So any quests you have will appear here on the right, and any markers will appear here on the map. You can press that. You can click this exclamation point button down here, or press L as in log to open that up. This is the guild tool, which is normally accessed by pressing J. That we will go over in a later video. This is the group finder, which you won't unlock until level 10, so we'll go over that later. This is your collections tab, which as a new character, you will not have very many collections to choose from, so we will go over that later. The adventure guide is not for new players, and then there's the in-game shop that lets you spend your money on World of Warcraft stuff. And finally, you have the game menu, which brings up this little window, or it can be accessed by pressing escape to also bring up that same window. So, here we are. We are starting the game off. What are some things that beginners should know? Well, first of all, there is some useful settings that you may want to activate. So we're going to press escape, and we're going to go to interface, which brings up our settings menu. And some of the things that I like to set is auto loot by default, which means that when you loot a corpse or a box, it will just take everything, which is useful for picking up all of the useless crap that you get, especially at levels, and it will sell it. It'll just put it straight into your bags. Combat, there is nothing important. Display is nothing important. Social, if you want to enable or disable the mature language filter, that is under the social thing. This is so if people type out swear words, it will go in or out. If you don't want people spamming you with automatic guild invites, which is kind of a problem in this game, you can go block guild invites. Just remember to unenable that when you want to actually join a guild. And here is action bars. So obviously, as a level 1 character and with 3 abilities, these bars are more than enough. But as you start to get new and newer things, you may wish to add extra action bars. So you can click here, and you'll notice they're not actually showing up because I don't have them set. But if I click always show, you'll see that it adds extra action bars. So it added a whole 2 rows up here, and it added 2 rows over here on the right side. And this isn't important for now, but it will be important as your character grows. And then for names, that's pretty much going to be it for controls for new players. So here we are ready to go. One thing I recommend is getting rid of this attack, because your character will automatically attack when you right click on mobs. So to get rid of this, just hold shift, click on this, drag it away, and drop it. Now it's gone. And now I'm going to move my slam into the first category. So here we are, our brand new character. We're all set up. The last thing I need to mention before we get into questing is your bags. This is where you will find your inventory, and you can access this by clicking on the little bag here, or by just hitting the letter B, as in Bjorn. And the only thing you'll start out with is this Hearthstone. Now, what Hearthstones do in World of Warcraft is every 30 minutes you can use this to return to the basically your home base. As a new character, it will return you right to this exact spot that I'm on, or whatever spot you happen to start in. But as you go around the world to different inns, you can set that inn as your home, and this Hearthstone will teleport you there. But I'll show you that in a little bit. So, you're all ready to go, your first character. you've got your first quest guy. So we're going to go over, we're going to right-click on him. He's going to bring up the quest. You can read the text if you want. I definitely recommend it if it's your first time, if you're looking for the full experience. But the quest objective is we need to slay 6 Rockjaw invaders, and our reward will be these slightly better pants. Now you notice how I'm hovering over these pants, and you can see that it automatically compares it to what I have equipped. And then on the bottom section there, you can see that if I equip these new pants, it will give me +1 armor. And I'll also get 15 copper and 80 experience. So we are going to accept this quest. Now you'll notice on the mini-map, you might have a hard time seeing it, but there's a light blue ring here that shows me the area where I'm going to find these Rockjaw invaders. And I can also press M to pull up the map. And here it will also show me now where I need to go for these invaders. So as I spin my camera, you'll see my little guy spinning around there. So we need to head this way to find Rockjaw invaders. So as I head this way, you can see that there are a bunch of Rockjaw invaders. Now to get their names to pop up like this, you just press the V. V as in Vendetta, to get these to pop up and down. So we see the enemies. And one last thing that I want to go over is, you see how close I am scrolled into my character? If you just do the scroll wheel, it will scroll as far back or as far forward as you want to go. I find about here to be comfortable. So, on our right over here, we have our quest objectives. And currently our only quest is to kill 6 of these Rockjaw invaders. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So I'm going to walk up to him, and I'm just going to right-click, and that's going to automatically start my attack. You'll see as a warrior, my rage bar is growing up over here. And now I have the ability to use my slam attack, which I did by pressing 1. And I right-clicked to loot. And you'll notice in combat that this little bar is going to pop up here. This is your health and your rage, or whatever resource you happen to have on that character. Just get these done real quick. One thing to notice, you see this bar going up right here. This purple bar is your experience. And if you hover over it, you can see what percentage of a level you've got and how much you need to go until your next level. So this purple thing is your experience bar. You'll see the quest tracker up here is keeping track. And there's that little yellow pop-up that'll appear on the top of your screen. That will also keep track of your quests. I'm at 5 of 6. And again, I'm just right-clicking to loot. Alright, I completed my quest. So now you'll see on my minimap, this exclamation point has now turned into a question mark. So that is where I'm going to go to turn in this quest. So we're going to go back to the guy who gave us the quest. We're going to click on him. We only get 1 reward, so we're going to complete the quest. He's going to give us a new quest is automatically going to pop up to kill 3 Rockjaw goons. So we're going to accept that. We're going to press B to go to our inventory. And we're going to right-click those pants to equip them. And you'll notice my pants color changed. And we are good to go. Now you'll notice I now have a second quest from this guy.
What's on your mind?
So he wants us to heal 4 wounded mountain men. So I'm not going to do both of these quests, but I do want to show you just real quickly what it looks like when you level. So I'm going to go over here, smack this guy to death. Because as you can see, we're pretty close to level. 1 more should do it. So let's come over here. Smack this guy around. There we go, we leveled. We got the nice yellow thing that popped up. It says we've reached level 2. But we don't get anything until level 3, so I wouldn't expect a new ability. But when you do get new abilities, they will pop up immediately on your bar. So, that is everything that you need to worry about as a brand new player in World of Warcraft at level 1. As always, if you have any comments or questions or requests, feel free to leave them in the comment section. And feel free to leave any stories about your first time playing World of Warcraft. Like I, for example, didn't know anything about gear. I would just buy mine from vendors. But we'll cover gear in a different video. I hope this series has been informational for you guys. And I will be putting out a new video shortly. Take it easy, YouTube.